Hey there. So my animals have been pissing me off lately and committing hate crimes against me, and I think we can all relate to that, but on the internet we don't want to talk about that. We just want to do the cute stuff. So I want to increase animal toxicity, I guess, by talking about the terrible things my animals are doing to me, which actually they're not doing it to me, they're just being themselves, and it goes against my human desire to have a perfect ecosystem. And a way I deal with a lot of these frustrations is I doodle in my sketchbook. It's probably a major reason why I'm so good at sketchbooking is because, you know, other people journal. I think sketchbooking is actually a form of journaling. I'm not very good with words. I despise writing in a journal, has never helped me, but I do doodle incessantly, and I find that I doodle about things that are frustrating me, and by doodling them and making them cute, I'm able to reframe how I view that thing and maybe get that frustration out and view it in a different light. So with that being said, I'm just gonna kind of go over the things my animals have done to terrorize me and doodle about it, so maybe you can feel better about your own animals being terrible pieces of shit. So I'm gonna start with Cwad. She is my 2-year-old basset hound. She's adorable. She's generally a very sweet angel who looks like, or she acts like you've been beating the shit out of her forever, which I would never hurt her. She is a beautiful queen, but something that she does, which actually she hasn't been doing it lately, it's why I'm starting with her, because it's kind of a distant memory, is she will piss on the floor a lot. Basset hounds are notoriously hard to potty train. I don't blame her, I guess. I mean, I do, but you know, they're just difficult to potty train. I didn't realize that before I got them. But she knows better. She knows to go outside, but she insists on pissing in the house. It is maddening in the way that she'll go outside, pee, and then come inside to pee, like not even 10 minutes later, as an adult dog. She's 2.5-ish now, and she's gotten a lot better about it, like I said. So I can trust her now in the house when I'm home, and she won't do that anymore, but when I leave, I still don't trust her. It's just one of those things where it's just so, those memes where it's like, if you could talk to your dog for 10 seconds, what would you say? I'd literally just grab her by the face and be like, piss outside. No inside. Why are we doing that? I don't know. I know she doesn't mean to make me angry. Maybe it's just convenient. Maybe she likes the smell. I don't know. I don't know what goes on in her head. That's her main crime, and I drew her with a glove in her mouth because this isn't really a crime because she doesn't tear anything up, but she'll steal things like shoes and gloves mostly, and she'll run around with them like it's the biggest prize on earth. And I just think it's cute, and it was an excuse to show a picture of her looking devilish and happy with a glove. My next criminal who I love dearly is Jack. He is my cat who I have had since he was born. I found his mom as a stray, and she gave birth on a bed during a house party, and I've had him ever since, and he is, for all other intents and purposes, the perfect cat, but he had this problem. When he was around 5, he started marking things, which any male cat owner, some female, but mostly male cat owner will know is incredibly infuriating. And there are a lot of solutions to it, like Prozac, or making sure the litter boxes are clean and making sure everything's cleaned up really well, finding the trigger for it, or blocking them off from those things, or checking for UTI. There's a whole thing. I've done everything under the sun to the point of madness, and it's only gotten worse, and it's still an ongoing thing. And I want to help him not feel the need to do that, and I don't know how to do that. No one likes pee in their house. No one likes to be that person with the pee-pee house, so I clean a lot, and I'm super paranoid about figuring out if he's done it anywhere. And it comes and goes in severity, in phases, so it's just frustrating, and it's hard whenever you know you'll never get rid of that animal, no matter what, so you're just trying to problem solve and spending tons of money and time on it. It's just sad, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have him than not have to clean up something for 10 minutes a day, which in, you know, grand scheme of things, you sit back, relax, and chill out about it for a second. It is like 10 to 15 minutes maybe of my day cleaning up the messes, but still, maybe one day we'll figure out how to stop it. I've tried a lot of things, so I'm not really open to suggestions because, trust me, no one has tried more than I have, so I appreciate it, but no. That's really his only crime, but it is very frustrating. My next animal is Rowan. He is no longer a criminal. We used to live in apartments and we used to have to take him out to go to the bathroom. And if you live in an apartment that allows dogs, there's gonna be other people with dogs. So you gotta take him outside and they're gonna encounter those strange dogs and he's gonna become very reactive. And that can be pretty frustrating when he is the 70-pound dog that he is. That was something that was really hard to solve. We sent him to a trainer and the trainer said he never had any problems with it, so it's just with me whenever he's super reactive. So that can be extra frustrating too, because even with training, it just depends on the person he's with if he's gonna be reactive. Really, the only thing that solved it was time and living in a different situation, because now we don't have neighbors with dogs, we don't have to take him anywhere because we have plenty of space for him to run around and for him to go outside. So this isn't really a current issue anymore. He's just a guy who doesn't want strange dogs around him when he's with me, and that's flattering, but also frustrating. Other than that, he is the best dog, best boy. He really shouldn't even be on this list, but I will say for a while that issue was a huge point of frustration, and I kind of wondered if I was even qualified to handle him sometimes. But whenever he's inside, he was a perfectly fine dog, so it's just that patience and waiting for things to kind of work themselves out that ended up making things better. And the next dog is truly, you could call him a bad dog. He is Tugboat. He is very cute. He's a basset hound, so of course he has that potty training issue. Not nearly as bad as Cwad, I don't think, but I definitely struggle with that. In the winter, he kind of regresses because it's cold outside, so why wouldn't we just shit inside? You know, it's a little too cold out there. But his main bad issue is if we leave him out when we leave, he will pick something and destroy it. He has also eaten 90 tablets of Jack's Prozac. He has eaten an entire cookie cake. He has eaten an entire thing of coffee grounds. He has eaten 4 of my Apple pencils. What else has he eaten that we had to take him in for? I guess that's it, but he's eaten a lot of stuff that he shouldn't and cost us a lot of money in vet bills, especially the Prozac one. Oh, the other thing he ate that was actually super bad, and this is a PSA. He ate an entire container of sugar-free gum, and if you don't know, sugar-free gum is extremely toxic to dogs, and we took him to the ER and his liver was showing signs of failure within 30 minutes of eating the gum. He's totally fine now, by the way. We're able to get him to puke and they gave him like this liver blocking thing and whatever. Anyway, if your dog eats any kind of gum, if you're not sure exactly what it was, I would just take him to the ER. I'm not a vet, but probably good advice. So he's a little naughty, likes to get into things he shouldn't. It's just a hound dog. And one of his most frustrating bad boy things though is he overthinks a lot. So if he's even in the kitchen and has like the slightest idea there might be a treat or food around, he will attack a dog like 10 feet away from him because he's getting super hyped up thinking about the food or the treat or anything. He's done this with a stick that he's not even near, and he's done this with a water bowl that he's not even near. We've just had to work with him and we feed him like in a totally separate room than the other dogs, and we give him treats in a very structured way so that in his mind he knows exactly how things are and what is happening when, so that he isn't overthinking like that. For a dog, you just shouldn't be thinking all that much, but he's a bad boy, but he's also very cute and very affectionate, so what do you do? This isn't really a specific pet, but it's a genre of pet. But my roosters are all criminals by nature. They're born this way. Doesn't matter if you hand raise them or if you are super sweet to them or hold them every day. Inevitably, in my opinion, roosters will always try to attack you, especially in the spring when they're hormonal, things like that. You might get lucky, and I've seen roosters that are super friendly and they're cute and they come up to the door and they're pets and they come on in and stuff, but I think that takes a special level of intense hand raising that I'm just not doing. And that's just the nature of roosters, and I don't blame them for that. I've had varying degrees of aggression in my roosters. My most current rooster is actually my nicest rooster, and he'll still attack me in the spring, but in general, he kind of leaves me alone. I say he goes after me maybe once a month, compared to my first rooster, Mr. Leahy. He would attack me every time he saw me, like on site. I was his biggest op. I still loved him. He's a good boy. He's really nice to his hens, and he's just being himself, so I don't resent the roosters for this behavior. Whether the solution for some people's the soup pot or they just tolerate it like I do, can't deny that they be bad like that. The next two animals I'm going to talk about involve the unaliving of other animals, so if you're uncomfortable with that, take responsibility for what you watch in this moment. My next animal is my drake pie. He was a part of my first group of ducks that I ever had, and I wanted to add more hens to my group of ducks because you need to have a good hen to drake ratio, usually one drake to a minimum of like 4 to 6 hens or more. Otherwise you'll have problems. So I wanted to add more. I had 4 hens at the time, so I was adding a 5th hen. And she was kind of young, but I kept her separated until she had all of her adult feathers and they were introduced, and everything seemed like it was going well. They would, hang out, eat together, sleep in the same area together, so it seemed like everything was going fine. And then I go out one day and she is drowned in the water pool I had for them. So my immediate assumption was that Pie had drowned her trying to mate with her, which I wasn't really expecting because they were getting along so well and I wasn't noticing any bad behavior, but it is what it is. I can't really even prove it was him. It could have been a hen, but I've never seen the hens be aggressive ever, even in that moment or even currently to new ducks I introduce. It could have just been a moment of just instinctual behavior and they were just slightly too small, or who knows. It could have also just been an accident where they got wet feather and drowned, which I've had a duck get wet feather before, but I caught it in time and they didn't drown, which wet feather, for people who don't know, is just whenever a duck's feathers lose their ability to repel water and it becomes soaked and then they become heavy and they sink. But my assumption at the time was that it was Pie. And I put him on Craigslist because I was really upset, and I was like, I'm gonna get rid of him because I didn't want him to do anything bad to my other hens, even though I had no proof up to that point that he'd ever been aggressive to them either. And I even had someone ready to come pick him up, and I decided at the last minute to go against it because I felt maybe I was being a little rational, and maybe even if he did, it's like, okay, he did this thing, but in general, he's not been this way to the other ducks, so is it really necessary to rehome him whenever he's fine the way things are here? So I gave him another chance, and I'm glad I did because I really like him, and he still has his current hens except one, which I'll talk about in a minute. And it's just nice seeing him hang out with them, and they still sleep together and eat together, and it's just nice seeing a flock that they get to live out their lives with each other. So he's not inherently a bad, malicious animal. It's just accidents happen and you move on. Now, the next animal who I'm going to talk about, his name is Godzilla. He is my goose. I got him recently. I got geese this year as a new thing. I've been wanting geese. So I got a pair. I got Godzilla and Mothra, and everything was going super well. The introduction was super easy. They seemed to fit right in. But one day I go outside and I see Godzilla standing on top of my duck Butterscotch I talked about earlier. She was one of my original ducks from my original group, so she was kind of older, not super old for a duck, but I'd say she was at least 4 or 5. I don't know her exact age when I got her. Either way, he was standing on top of her. My assumption was he was trying to be aggressive or mate with her in some way, which obviously he's too big. And I got him off of her and she seemed really out of it, so I put her in like a quarantine area and made sure she had, water and the temperature was fine so she could recuperate. And I got a couple hours later to check on her and she'd passed away. I'm assuming just from the weight on top of her or something else happening trauma-wise on her body. She just didn't make it. And to be fair, she's almost unalived a couple times, either by the wet feather drowning incident or from getting caught somewhere. She just, she's slow. She never runs from anything. She was the easiest duck to catch. So I'm assuming it was a combination of that mixed with a brand new bird who maybe was a little confused or was asserting dominance in some way. It was just a bad combo, and I was really upset about that because, again, she was one of my first ducks, so it was similar to the pie thing where it's like I'm really upset at first, It's just hard because, you know, of the like, to humans, it's like, oh, this is like a horrible, gross thing, and I was wondering if I should rehome him as well. But I kind of just left it alone, and I had these goslings that weren't doing super well in the brooder, so I kind of introduced them to the outside, and I noticed Godzilla was super interested in them, so I like kind of saw what would happen if I put the babies in with them. I was supervising it because I don't know how geese interact as much as I do other animals. And it turns out that Godzilla was super interested in them because he wanted to like immediately adopt them. And after adopting them, they did super well. They started eating better, they were happier, they were more active, because in the brooder they were not eating, they just seemed depressed overall and didn't want to move much. So it was really nice seeing Godzilla raise these chicks, and he was super protective of them, and it was really cute seeing them as a family. So while he did, again, with the same thing with Pi, while he did this heinous thing in my eyes, he also has really positive instinctual traits like fostering these goslings, and it was like a super enriching experience to have and seeing that. And I think that's part of the reason I like having farm animals, is because while there's like the hard kind of death stuff that happens, there's also the really positive life things that happen. So with that being said, I just wanted to kind of doodle that and talk about those things because I feel as though it's kind of taboo to talk about the negative aspects of pets because there's, you know, overall it's like they're innocent, they don't know better, so we always want to do the positive, blame the human, whatever. And a lot of this could be stewardship things. I always adjust things to try and make things better for everyone in the whole. I try to fix these issues, but nothing's perfect, especially with the farm animals. You could do everything perfectly and someone's gonna get into something that you could have never even conceived of. So it's just about adjusting and learning, but it is very frustrating for me whenever these things happen. It feels like I'm the only person in the world who these things are happening to, and these animals are doing these things to me on purpose, but I think it's happens to everyone. I think everyone's animals torment them. It's like, yeah, Jack pisses everywhere, but also he doesn't scratch furniture, and there's someone out there whose cat is just terrorizing their furniture but has never had a litter box accident in their life. So, you know, animals will be animals. I think the benefits outweigh, you know, the cons for me at least, and I just doodle about it. They're really good inspiration for me. They're really good in general for the well-being and me growing as a person, because obviously it takes some level of emotional maturity to say, hey, you know, they committed an unaliving, but they're just a goose. And I think that's good for, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I hope you got some solace from commiserating about shit animals. Maybe let me know how your animals are shit in the comments, and maybe people can relate to how your animal is being a piece of shit. And I'll see you next time. Bye 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 bye.